For many years now, Greece has been indulging in an activity called pushbacks. This is where the Greek Navy pushes migrant boats back into the sea, and in some cases, this results in death. In some cases, it results in people returning to Turkey, for example. 24 aid workers and volunteers have participated in migrant rescue operations focusing on the island of Mytilene. And they went on trial today in a case which is linked to smuggling and accessing sensitive political information from Turkey and from Greece. In fact, everything but the kitchen sink has been thrown at these people. These people include prominent human rights workers, particularly from Syria, Sarah Mardini, who herself is a refugee and a competitive swimmer. Her sister, Yusra Mardini, was part of the refugee swimming team in the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro in 2016 and in Tokyo 2021. The sister's story was made into a movie by Netflix. That's one of the movies, presumably, which wasn't taking all the money from the money paid to Prince Harry. So Mardini was not present at the hearing today, and Sean Binder, who has spent 3 months in jail in Lesbos after the arrest for ridiculous charges of espionage, forgery, unlawful use of radio frequencies, and so on. So the case was initially set to go ahead in 2021, but it was postponed over issues of procedure. And so many extraordinarily trumped up charges have been thrown at these people that it's likely that some of these are going to stick. But what is on trial is basic human rights and basic dignity of people looking for help and support. We cannot push people back into the water and expect that our national law is going to protect us. Our national law is not going to protect us because our national law is inadequate if we believe that pushing people back into the water is the right thing to do. It isn't. It cannot be. That's the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is one of morality and responsibility. And we in the UK are rapidly drifting in this direction. Where Greece is today, we in the UK will be tomorrow. Binder has said that he is desperate to go on trial because what they have done is entirely legal. We need the judge to acknowledge that we need to get through this, because until then there is a shadow of doubt, not over me alone, but over anybody who does search and rescue. Amnesty International has called this whole thing farcical and has called on the authorities to drop all the charges. Sarah and Sean did what any of us would do in their position, helping people at risk of drowning in one of the deadliest sea routes in Europe, and assisting them on the shoreline is not a crime, says Amnesty International. The trial reveals how the Greek authorities will go to extreme lengths to deter humanitarian assistance, to discourage migrants and refugees from seeking safety on the country's shores, something which we see in a number of other European countries and indeed in the UK. It is farcical that this trial is even taking place. It's even farcical, I would add, that this trial is taking place when the European Court of Human Rights ruled in favour of my partner Najati Zontal, who was tortured and beaten and imprisoned and so on in 2001, and whose case was recognised by the European Court of Human Rights, and the European Court of Human Rights expected Greece to change 3 of its existing laws. It still hasn't done so. The Greek Parliament is in serious danger of failing to undertake its responsibilities in respect of the charges laid on it by the European Court of Human Rights. Either it respects the European Court of Human Rights or it doesn't give a damn. And Greek officials say, in response to all this, that they have a fair and strict immigration policy. What they have is a disaster and a chaos, and people struggling to deal with the huge weight of immigration that Greece faces. That weight should be borne across Europe, and it isn't. Greece is quite right that it's struggling to contain this problem. Greece is quite wrong in the way that it's doing so.